Okay. Zoom Master, would you like to play the video?
Okay, good. Give me a moment.
Welcome to Region 2 sessions. Now we'll play our second video. Over to you, Florence.
Thank you to our team lead, Kim, for the opening. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and also good evening, wherever you are. I'm sure there's a lot of people across the world today. Then thank you so much for spending your good time for our next 2 hours in our Team 2 session. Without further ado, this is our team for today, which is called Voices United. And let's get the party started. To you, to our team leader, Kim. Before we start, I'd just like to read out the video release consent that the session is recorded. This meeting will be recorded for marketing and promotional purposes. By remote attendance, you are hereby discharged Toastmasters and World Travel's Toastmaster Club from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use of disturbing of said video recording, including but not limited to claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, and defamation. We encourage everyone to have their camera on to participate actively during the Q&A segment. If you do not want to be recorded, you can switch off your camera if you do not wish to be recorded. Please do mute yourself unless it is your turn to speak or ask questions. So without further ado, let's get the party started, and I'll hand over the session to our team lead, Kim. Over to you, Kim.
Thank you very much at AA Florence School. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone from around the world, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Kim, team leader for Region 2, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. It is indeed an honor to be here to welcome all of you to this exciting event in celebration of Toastmasters Centennial. Today, we are privileged to have an exceptional lineup of speakers, including past international presidents, past international directors, Citation Award recipients, accredited speakers, world champion of public speakers, semi-finalists, and semi-finalists. These distinguished speakers are here to inspire, to entertain, and to share their incredible stories with us. I am confident there will be a lot of gems to gather from this outstanding speaker. So prick up your ear. In addition, we also have Q&A sessions and a quiz, Centennial quiz sessions, and do participate. And remember, if you have any questions for our speakers, by all means, just list your questions on the chat and we'll make sure your speakers will answer those questions. And last but not the least, let our voices be united to create a positive impact on the world. They need to hear your stories, as Tom says. And I am now pleased to invite the District Director of DAT, Hakim, to say a few words. Over to you, Hakim.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Kim. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends. It is indeed a privilege to open this segment of this event today, a very landmark event as we celebrate 100 years of Toastmasters, a movement that started small but has now touched millions of lives across the globe, including yourself and mine. In a world where that's more interconnected than ever, effective communication is no longer a luxury. My friends, it is a necessity. We live in a life where global armed conflicts, social unrest, and the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have tested our ability to connect with one another. The pandemic in particular transformed the way we communicate, forcing us into digital spaces and making clear, emphatic communication vital. Even in isolation, we leaned on the power of our voices to bring communities together and provide comfort during uncertainty. And not only did we do that, I think we thrived, especially with the formation of the World Travelers Toastmasters Club that has enabled us to celebrate our voices this afternoon and evening. But Toastmasters has always been more about speaking, my friends. It's about communication with purpose, listening deeply, inspiring change. In a time where messages can so easily be distorted or misunderstood, our ability to convey clarity and empathy is what sets us apart. Consider the challenges posed by the armed conflicts worldwide. Amid war and division, the ability to foster understanding through dialogue becomes ever more critical. Our experience in Toastmasters teaches us that communication is not just about delivering a speech. It is about listening to others, finding common ground, and leading with empathy. These are the very skills that can help bridge divides and bring people together, even in the most trying times. So my friends, I encourage you as we reflect on the 100 years of the Toastmasters movement, we look ahead as well. The world is changing rapidly, but the core principles of effective communication remains unchanged. Whether we are speaking in person or through a screen like today, leading a team or comforting a friend, the lessons we learn here enable us to connect authentically and to lead with purpose. So the legacy of Toastmasters is one of transformation, not just for us, but for the communities we live in. Our voice matters. Your voice matters. The conversations we have here ripple out into the world, creating real impact. So my friends, I urge you and myself to let us continue to use our words to inspire, to connect, and to lead the world to a better future. To the next 100 years of Toastmasters and beyond, I thank you for being part of this incredible journey and this incredible event. Together, we can shape a better and more understanding and more beautiful world for our children and theirs. Thank you very much. Next up, we have a veteran Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Patricia Lam, someone I have the privilege of calling a good friend and respected leader in District 80. She has undergone profound transformation, growing from a participant to an active leader within District 80 and beyond. Engaging in speech delivery and organizational roles, she shares beyond communication skills. Toastmasters has taught her the essence of authenticity, empathy, and human connection. It is certainly for her a journey of self-discovery. So let's put our hands together and welcome our next speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Patricia Lam.
Gorgeous day to everyone, and thank you, Hakim, for that warm introduction. Thank you once again for your wonderful afternoon inspiring words to communicate and to lead. Before we start the session proper, I would like to appreciate the appointment holders who will be assisting us today. With Sergeant at Arms and photographer, we have Florence Khoo. For Tama, we have Annapurani. And for Zoom and Q&A master, we have Fong Sok Hwa DTM. Thank you all. The theme today, Voices United, as we celebrate 100 years of Toastmasters. We honor voices from all walks of life. Through shared stories, we have built bridges, inspire change, and empower countless individuals. We are more than speakers. We are a global community of leaders, united to positively impact others through effective communication and leadership. This is a powerful reminder that Toastmasters is not just about speaking. It's about uniting people through leadership and communication for a lasting global impact. It is now my pleasure to introduce 10 remarkable veterans, each sharing heartfelt insights on topics that are close to their hearts. We are in for an inspiring session, so please stay with us. And before I call upon our first speaker, I would like you to note that the timer is on the screen. Each speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Timing sequence is, of course, very familiar to every Toastmaster. At the 5th minute, the green sign will come on, and at the 6th, the yellow, 7, the red, and at the 7 minutes and 30 seconds, the thumbs up will be shown. And because of our wonderful schedule we have today, and not to overrun, speaker, please take note of the timer. And I'm ready. I'm sure every one of you are very excited to start listening to our speakers. Are you all ready? Can I have a thumbs up? Very good. Here we go. Our very first speaker is a very important Toastmaster, and I have known him very early in my Toastmasters journey in 2001. And I think that makes me very important as well. Datuk Dr. John Lau, DTM from Malaysia, is our past international president. Datuk John holds a double PhD. The first was in strategic marketing, and the second was in sociology. He is an entrepreneur, international speaker, and financial advisor. In 2012, he was elected international president, making him the first Malaysian to hold the position. His name was entered into the Malaysian Book of Record, and he was knighted by His Majesty the King of Malaysia, the honor of Panglima Jasa Negara, in June 2014. This can be translated into Commander of National Service. He strongly believes in continuous learning through his model of learn, unlearn, and relearn. The title of his speech, A Rewarding Journey. Please welcome Datuk John Lau, DTM. John, please.
Thank you, Patricia. I have some slides to share. It is noontime in Malaysia. Good afternoon, everyone. I know Singapore and Malaysia time is the same, but in Indonesia, where my mentor Maimunah is living, it's still 11 something. So good morning, Maimunah. It is good to watch many past international president and directors speaking today. I'd like to acknowledge some of them. Gavin Blackie, past international president when I was the district governor. And Mike Stokey, past international president. We have Leslie Stokey, past international director. Of course, within us here, we have past international director Maimunah. Maimunah, thank you for sharing the same platform with you. And the other mentor, previously he was from California, Rick Sydor, who always give me words of encouragement. International officers, international director, past regional advisor, and past district director, not forgetting my very good friend, district director Hakim from Singapore. How Toastmasters transformed me in my 34 years journey in Toastmasters. Today, I'd like to share with everyone. To me, it is a process of transformation, transforming me from an introvert to a person who is outspoken when things went wrong. Transformation to me, it means helping to develop communication and leadership skill in a supportive environment. And a lot of them has been asking me, John, you have finished all the manuals already. Why are you still doing the pathways? Because each speech, from preparation, drafting the speech, delivering the speech, receiving evaluation, it changed my personal thinking, my personal behavior, my personal philosophy. So how do I learn from all this? I will share with you. First, we all knew that in a message, communication, 55%, it is from our body language. Of course, our vocal is 38%. And what we actually say is only 7%. Fellow Toastmasters, I learned eye contact. I learned to move my body appropriately and the vocal appropriately as well. The right vocal at the right time. I think for those of them, especially past director Maimunah, she knew me since 1998. My pronunciation was no good before. I learned how to pronounce each and every word correctly. I have a pronunciation dictionary. It's a CD that I put in my laptop, and whichever word I could not pronounce, I will listen to the pronunciation. And before I deliver any speech, I need to do audience needs analysis. Then the speech development. What are the needs analysis of the audience? The culture, the thinking, the norm, what they like to hear on a specific topic. What are the issues that they face? Are they motivated or are they not so motivated? And what are their gaps in that particular knowledge? Then I went on to read the manual. I will read the manual 2 times, not 1 time, but 2 times. I will draft the speech. I will check with my mentor. Those days, I wrote each and every speeches that I deliver. My mentor will tell me, this is not the way, you should do it another way. Then at the club meeting, I deliver the speech, receive evaluation, and I always move forward to the next speech. So the key takeaway is read the manual. Then, because of the speeches that I deliver in Toastmasters, I could express effectively. I developed a vocal that built confidence, self-confidence. And when people see me, when I communicate with them, they say, John, you are a very confident person. Recently, a very new Toastmaster who is the chief executive officer of a multinational company where I recruit him to be a member, and that is what he said. His name is Mr. Derek Chai. The impromptu speaking that I gained in Toastmaster enabled me to think critically. It fosters personal growth because in business, in interaction with people, they ask you a lot of questions, especially when I make the news reporter, the press, the television. They ask you all sorts of questions, and we need to be able to understand diplomatically with humor. Therefore, I developed a structured speech, ability to communicate effectively. Now, you all know why I joined Toastmaster in 1990. It was because my business presentation skill was only 40%, meaning out of 10 customers I presented, only 4 customers will purchase the equipment from me. To me, that was no good. Then I joined Toastmaster Club in 1990, September the 4th. I learned some skills. So I changed my business presentation style. Then it improved from 40 to 60, from 60 to 70, from 70 to 80. That was good because I used the skill that I learned in Toastmasters. I used all these skills that I learned. I did needs analysis. I draft my speech. Then I achieved 80% success in every business presentation. Even up to these days, sometimes I achieve 9 out of 10 success. So ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster has groomed, has shaped me to be a better business presenter. And because of this, I want to share with you, when I went for my PhD Viva exam on September 18, 2019, it took me 20 minutes to do the presentation. At the end of the presentation, the chief examiner said, John, you are an expert in that field. I do not have any feedback on your finding, your theory, hypothesis. But I'd like you to shorten your 7 chapters to 5 chapters. I felt very, very good. Fellow Toastmasters, and out of which 2014, as Patricia mentioned, I was knighted by the King of Malaysia. And those days, on the photograph on the right side here, I never to see any policeman. Needless to say, to make the commissioner of police for Sarawak. We want to work together with the police in crime prevention. And on this side, I have the honor to be in Saudi Arabia. I dress up like an Arab there. Fellow Toastmaster. It was Toastmaster that had transformed me, that I got the gut to do all this. So in conclusion, I would like to say this, bring home with this, learn everything step by step. If you do the level 1 speech, do the icebreaker first. Then level 1 second speech, level 1 third speech. Each level we do it one after the other so that we can learn persuasion, we can influence people better. And in Toastmaster, we can find the key to do this. Take the first step, fellow Toastmasters, because the journey of 1,000 miles begin with the first step. I'm here today to thank Toastmasters. 34 years ago, I could not communicate in this manner, but today I'm able to because of the training, because of the mentors that will guide me, because of the coach that will coach me, I'm able to do it. Because indeed, Toastmaster is an organization that help everyone to be successful, to find the voice. That is the key. Fellow Toastmasters, I wish you all the best in celebrating Toastmaster 100th anniversary. And I believe Toastmaster will be there for next 100 years, not only 100 years, but the next 1,000 years, where I will not be around when another member is delivering the celebrating another 100-year anniversary. So take the first step. Over to you.
Thank you, Datuk John Lau, for the importance of using skills that we learn to express effectively, foster personal growth, communicate effectively in every speech that we deliver. And of course, your 34 years learning history. And of course, I need to apologize that your speech title was not updated. So there you have again. Thank you so much, John. Our next speaker is one of the well-known Toastmasters in Singapore, Richardson DTM, Presidential Citation Award recipient 2023. Richard is the author of the book, Riga, Resta, Regal with Words, a rich resource in the creative use, misuse, abuse, and overuse of words. He lectured in creative writing, grammar, and phonetics for the Cambridge International Diploma at TESOL Training Center and Global International Group Education Center. Richard was a project work assessor at the National University of Singapore and junior colleges. He also trained master teachers at the Academy of Singapore Teachers on Said It Well. His title, A Joyous Journey. I present to you Richardson DTM. Richard, please.
Thank you very much, Patricia. The Presidential Citation Award from Toastmasters International is the highest accolade I've received as a Toastmaster, and I'm deeply honored and privileged to be accorded this for my years of continuous contributions to the Toastmasters fraternity. Over the years, I've conducted 20 Who Wants to be the Grammarian, or what is known in Singapore as the language evaluator for the district, and 9 Who Needs the general evaluator. And the purpose was to raise the level, the standard, and the quality of language and general evaluations, as well as club meeting role holders. I have been instrumental in chartering 28 Toastmasters clubs as a sponsor and mentor, and I continue to support them at the club meetings and also the club events. And over the years, I've recruited almost 20 members. I believe that as a true leader in Toastmasters, he ought to serve and to continue to do so after the club roles in the EXCO, whether as president or as area director or as division director, once their terms are over, to give back and not to step back. To me, a distinguished Toastmaster in name only is pointless, meaningless, and useless, because we are just cozy, just in our club, and a majority out there are unaware. Again, over the years, the returns that I've received are immeasurable and irreplaceable. As we receive, we ought to give. Over the years, I benefited much from the speeches, the speech evaluations shared by fellow Toastmasters. And many have become firm, dear, and close friends. I contribute beyond the club, and I suggest that all of us should contribute to serve beyond the club, to other clubs, to your division, as well to the other divisions, and if possible, to the district as well. For me, I shall continue to charter more Toastmasters clubs, and when approached, and I shall also encourage more to be Toastmasters. I shall continue to conduct more educational talks and workshops. I experienced tremendous joy at Toastmasters meetings, events, conventions, and conferences. It has been a fulfilling, a fruitful, and a joyous Toastmasters journey. And the journey continues. So my dear friends, my dear Toastmasters, join me in the journey. All the best to all of you.
Madam Toastmaster, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, that's always the problem. Right, again, thank you, Richard, for your joyous journey of giving back to Toastmasters. I have also attended his language workshop, and in every one of his speeches, you will notice his masterful use of language and rhetoric. Thank you so much, Richard, again. Our next speaker is from USA, Thomas Iland, DTM, accredited speaker. Today, his speech title is Accountant to Advocate. Thomas' speech will describe his journey of leaving behind his career as a certified public accountant in order to take up public speaking and tell his story as a person in the autism spectrum. Toastmasters play an integral part in his professional transition as it helped him come up with material, better his presentation skills, and build his confidence on visual and in-person stages. Please help me welcome Thomas Iland, DTM. Thomas, please.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. It's a pleasure to be here at this event with all of you today. I'd also like to acknowledge my fiance, Rosetta Walker, is on the call today. She's Division C Director here in District 52 of Region 2. For those of you that may not know my backstory or what autism is a social communication disorder that makes it difficult to begin conversations and stay relevant in some cases on certain material. However, it also brings about great gifts, being able to be highly focused, having special interests, and offering an insight or a perspective that wasn't there before. When I was first diagnosed, I thought to myself, I'm good with numbers. I love Star Wars. I'm going to be George Lucas's accountant. I set my sights on that goal, and I went to college, got my bachelor's degree in accounting, worked for Disney right out of college doing property taxes. After I left the company, Disney would later acquire Lucasfilm, George Lucas's company. So the way I see it, retroactively and indirectly, I felt like I accomplished my goal, having worked for George Lucas's boss. I had a few more accounting jobs, internships, temp jobs, finally secured permanent, full-time employment with benefits, something I'd longed for my entire life, only to discover how exhausted I was, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I dreaded getting up driving for hours, sitting at a desk all day, and crunching numbers that wouldn't matter in a few years. At the same time, I saw and heard more and more stories of my peers on and off the autism spectrum crashing and burning in life because they did not know themselves. They did not love themselves, and they were not being themselves. 10 years ago, I decided to begin my transition away from accounting and beginning my journey of advocacy by telling my story on stages, sharing what I've learned the hard way along the way, and empowering others to see that they can live the life they want. Toastmasters has been an integral part of my transition. Shortly after leaving accounting, I chartered my very first club. My home club, The Outliers, is still going strong and is about to celebrate its 10-year anniversary. In addition, I've written a book, Come to Life, Your Guide to Self-Discovery. This shares my secrets to success and shows people that life doesn't come to you. It's up to you to come to life. You going out there and making things happen for yourself, going to where the action is, asking for what you want, and not stopping until you get it. Toastmasters has helped me find my voice. Toastmasters has helped me sharpen my saw. Toastmasters has helped me craft the messages that I want to convey to the world. And I've had the honor of speaking in several international environments. I've spoken at the United Nations twice about what people on the autism spectrum need to be successful. Rosetta and I have gone to Dubai, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, other international destinations as I share my stories of trials, tribulation, and triumph. Here within the organization, I see the value in moving onward and upward within the organization. About a year after I chartered the Outliers, I became an area director. Went on to become a division director after that. Got my Distinguished Toastmaster award. I asked myself at that point, what's next? That's where I learned about the accredited speaker program that our organization offers. For those of you that may not be familiar with the accredited speaker program, it's designed for those that have mastered the art of public speaking and apply it to a particular trade or line of work. In my case, I specialize in speaking at autism conferences, giving keynotes to people with autism, their parents, professionals that help them, and show them that they have the power to live the life that they want. Now, mind you, becoming an accredited speaker, mastering the art of public speaking, when you have a social communication disorder, no easy task. It took me many attempts to pass level 1, but thanks to the many mentors that Toastmasters offers, I was able to get assistance so that by the time my level 2 speech came around and I had to speak in front of about 1,000 people in Denver, Colorado, I was ready. And I passed on the first attempt on level 2. So ladies and gentlemen, if someone with a social communication disorder like autism can master the art of socializing and communicating, public speaking, imagine what kind of barriers you can break. What kind of obstacles you can overcome, what kind of ceilings you can shatter. Let my story show or serve as an example that you can be more than even you think you can sometimes. And that taking a leap of faith, even leaving behind something you are very familiar with or you thought was good for you, can bring about something better for you and make a better life for yourself and a better world for all of us. My next step in the organization, now that I've gotten my DTM and accredited speaker, I want you all to look for me on the stage of the World Championship of Public Speaking. I have several stories, and I plan to put them to use in a way that conveys a universal message, can bring us together, and show that we, in Toastmasters, can be the change we want to see in our lives, as Gandhi said, and bring about the best in others as well. Because life doesn't come to us, it's up to us to come to life. Congratulations on 100 years of Toastmasters. May we have 100 more and then some. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for the very empowering speech that we had from you. And it was really very inspiring, giving us an excellent insight into everyone can make it in life. We have to believe that life don't come to us, and we have to go for life, to life. And now, at this moment, I'd like to hand control over to the Zoom master, Fong Sok Hwa, DTM, who will moderate the Q&A. Sok Hwa, please.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard from 3 powerful and amazing speakers. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and unmute yourself to ask. Or if you can also utilize the chat box to drop your questions and we shall address them accordingly. As we have limited time, perhaps we can only address 2 questions at the moment. So anyone from the floor would like to... Okay, we have one from our team lead, Kim. Yes, the question for Dr. John Lau. Yeah, Dr. John Lau, hopefully you are there. Yes. Yeah. So the question is, what is your biggest challenge in speech preparation? What is your biggest challenge in speech preparation? It's not presentation, but how to prepare it. Over to you. Thank you.
The greatest challenge I ever had in preparing a speech was always I have no idea what to say. That is the key. So how do I brainstorm for idea? I would take my personal example, like one when I was a childhood or when I was in school. I would think of those days, something I can share that the audience are interested to know. That's how I start preparing the speech. When I start writing the speech, introduction, body, and conclusion, then I have no problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. John Lau. Yes, I do agree with that because like what you have mentioned in your presentation, you say a journey of 1,000 miles begin with the first step. So once you get started, the engine will continue to roll and we can move forward. Thank you. So yeah, for the audience, feel free to ask if possible. And we have another question prepared by our team lead, Kim. For Tom, when was the pivotal moment to transit from a CPA to an advocate speaker? Is there any special sign or etc.? Yeah, how do you prepare for the transition? Thomas?
Well, I felt like I was ready to make the transition when I was really at a point where I felt like I didn't belong in accounting because I was really miserable. I felt like I don't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else. And plus, in my last accounting job, I was actually getting offers to do keynotes and speeches that I would have to ask for time off in the job, and my management and coworkers were not taking kindly to that. So I'm thinking I need to let this go and really do what I was meant to do. And mind you, my first professional keynote out of accounting was at the beautiful Waikiki Marriott in Honolulu, Hawaii. Was I gonna say yes to accounting and no to that? I don't think so. So when opportunity knocks or something that you know in your heart is right to do, go for it. Even if you have to leave what you know behind, start anew, fresh, your livelihood will thank you later. And my fiance has put my website in the chat here. Also, I have the link to my second book that I recently came out with, My Glasses Full, Stories of Putting Mental Health First. So you can order Come to Life through my website. You can get My Glasses Full at the link I am providing in the chat now. And I'll also be putting my email address in the chat for anybody that wants to email me questions privately or after this meeting. Thank you very much for that question.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Yes, I think definitely when sometimes your heart tells you that you need to go somewhere else, you just need to follow your heart and continue to move on from there. Thank you, and it's definitely very kind of you to share a copy of your book. So feel free to download and learn more from Thomas, how he has transformed his journey to become a speaker today. Now, perhaps you can just address the last questions to Richard. Yeah, Richard, possible? Could you share with us what is your tips or tricks in chartering 28 clubs in your Toastmasters journey? How did you do that, Richard? Over to you.
I was about to leave to attend to another event. Fortunately, I kept it on. There are no tricks or tips. Certainly no techniques, no tactics at all. Incidentally, of all the clubs that I was instrumental in chartering, not one was I approached to help charter a club. It's because of my commitment, my dedication, my sharing. I was approached by different organizations. Can you help to form a club? It is because they know that I am a reliable person. I am reliable, I'm responsible, and I don't just serve the mandatory 6 months. I serve as long as the club is still around, as long as the next committee will want me to continue serving. And I will attend almost every meeting for the club that I charter. So my dear friends, being responsible, being reliable, and offer your services as much as possible. No tips, no tricks, no techniques.
All right. Thank you very much, Richard, for sharing that quick
Pleasure.
tips. That is actually a tip as well, because service, dedication, commitment, these are some of the big words that it's not easy to be learned in one day. And we learned it in a beautiful organization like Toastmasters, where we support each other. So with
Great.
that, I would like to conclude the session. Thank you very much, everyone, every speakers, for your sharing. I shall hand over the session back to our Toastmaster of the day. Over to you, Patricia.
Thank you, Swan. And welcome back. Our next speaker, Rick Sydor, DTM, is from USA, a past international director. His speech title is Remembering International Conventions since 1977. Rick Sydor joined Toastmasters in February 1973. He served as District 42 Governor in 1981-82. He served as International Director 1996-1998. He is a registered parliamentarian, retired with the National Association of Parliamentarians, and is active in his home district 39 and other Toastmasters districts around the world, serving as parliamentarian at various district council meetings. Please welcome Rick Sydor, DTM. Rick, please.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, one and all. Let's see if we can get proper positioning to share. There we go. Please join me on my trip down memory lane, remembering some highlights from various Toastmasters International Conventions since 1977, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Here's a collection that hangs on my wall, all the Toastmaster pins since they were first introduced in 1981. If you haven't purchased a copy of Confident Voices yet, the story of Toastmasters, I highly recommend you make this investment. Well worth the price. It's packed with a lot of pictures, history, including stories of past international conventions. But I hope to share with you a few stories not found in this book. There we go. The purpose of an international convention include meeting other Toastmasters from around the world to exchange ideas or focus on how Toastmasters had brought people together, creating a global community. Why is it not cooperating?
Tom, would you like us to share the presentation?
Okay, I got it. Thank you. The young lady you see in the photo is my wife, Vanessa Lindeberg, Distinguished Toastmaster. This year in Anaheim was her first international convention. Since it was also Disney's 100th year, and we planned to go to Disneyland, Vanessa decided to meet as many people as possible by asking them to sign and comment in her autograph book. Well, she got over 200 people to make commentary, as you could see. And guess who was the first one to sign? The Executive Director of Toastmasters, Dan Rex. What a pleasure for her to meet him and have him sign the book. A second purpose for International includes having educational sessions to educate members. What you see here is from the 2008 Calgary Convention. They had educational tracks besides general sessions for communications, skill building, leadership, club and district officers. Sadly, in my opinion, the educational sessions have taken a backseat to the good old days when there was at least a day and a half of top-notch presentation and, of course, the handouts that were available. Sigh. Another reason for attending International was the annual business meeting. How many people in the audience recognize this individual? He was the legal counsel and parliamentarian for Toastmasters for 40 years. And yes, it was worth the price of admission just to hear Joe Rennert explain to all the voting delegates the proper voting procedure on the old paper ballots, instructing the delegates to listen to advice given by others, but vote their conscience as to the best candidate for the organization. In the book Confident Voices, you'll find Joe on page 282 to 284. Rest in peace, Joe. You served Toastmasters well for over 40 years as parliamentarian, and I was privileged to attend 15 of your sessions during the annual business meeting. A story for you from back in the good old days, and maybe John Lau remembers, candidates did not speak on their own behalf at the business meeting. You had a seconder who spoke on your behalf while you stood there, hands by your side, looking as calm as possible, while inside you were as nervous as all get out. Another reason, and the last reason, that many people attend the International was for the International Speech Contest, or now known as the World Championship of Public Speaking since 1977. I had the pleasure of seeing the three of the ones which I will refer to. The first one in 1977 was E.J. Burgay, or known as E.J. Davis then. She was the first lady to win the International Speech Contest, but what most people didn't see is her seeing-eye dog lying at her feet as she spoke, giving her winning speech. Another one that really made a lasting impression was Roy Fenstermaker in 1983. He was the last international championship winner to speak from behind the lectern. Now they all speak and roam the stage and wow you with their presence. In 2009, Mark Hunter won the international contest. His disability was he was a paraplegic in a wheelchair. He owned the stage. So having a disability is not a hindrance to winning. Gosh, there's so many more stories I could tell you about international, but they only allow me 5 to 7 minutes. All I can say is, we'll see you in Philly. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Rick, for bringing us back memory lane and reaffirming the purpose of joining Toastmasters from personal growth to communicating on the global stage. An amazing collection of pins, and if you have not started collecting, and it's not too late. Well, we will probably be waiting for a workshop from you, Rick, on the final points of being a parliamentarian. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I am delighted to introduce our next speaker, someone I've had the pleasure of knowing for a long, long time, even back when I didn't know what an international director was. Hearing from Indonesia, we have Natasha Maimunah, DTM, and past international director. She's speaking on the title, United the World with Our Voices. Maimunah joined Toastmasters in 1993. She was district governor, 2000-2001. During her time of leadership, together with her team, they achieved President Distinguished Club, Area, Division, and District. She served as International Director in 2003 to 2005. Please welcome Natasha Maimunah, DTM. Natasha, please.
Very good morning, very good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. It's just a pleasure for me, and it is an honor for me to be with you today. I'd like to thank all.
Maimunah, we lost your voice. We couldn't hear you. Can you try again?
You can hear her.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I just like to thank every one of you here. And I like to thank also the 4 speakers before me. I cannot mention your name one by one, but for me, it is a privilege to be with you today. I'd like to share the screen with you. Few screens, I know that I don't have to, but I like to. I'd like to share with you about how can we unite the world? How can we unite the world with these Toastmasters? My experience for 30 over years in Toastmasters life, I learned so much. It says that where Toastmasters is a place, is a platform where leaders are made. Toastmasters has taught me so many things. One of the skills that I learned is how can I project my thought, my hearts in such a way that people would listen and people would say, that's true. You see, today's world, there's so many conflicts, there's so many miscommunication. So for me, Toastmasters is really a place for me to learn. I learned so much, not only the communication skills, but also the leadership skill. That's why we say that Toastmasters is where leaders are made. For me, Toastmasters is a platform to allow personal transformation, that every step that we go through our journey, that's a transformation time. There's an opportunity to be transformed as well as to transform others. That's my experience. And Toastmasters also a platform, either we work on communication and leadership skill, but not only to learn, but every step help us to grow, not only to be a speaker, but to be a transformer. That's what I'm trying to do in my life. I'm 82 years now. When I joined Toastmasters, only 50 something. So I learned that I can make good use of these communication skills to bring people into peace, to bring people into understanding, to bring people throughout the world to make their life better and for them to feel better, for them to understand that they are appreciative. Today's world, with this advanced technology, the world has been connected in our palm. Just in our palm, we can connect the whole world. But you know, however, that this also disconnects the people. disconnect people from you and me because we are so advanced in using this gadget that we forget who is beside us. More individualistic and more depression grow with that, loneliness, fear, isolated, and at the end of it, losing hope. This happened, you see, in Indonesia alone, for the past, I think for the past 2 or 3 weeks, we listened to young people committed suicide. They died. They are university students. They are bright in learning. They are bright in everything. However, they are losing hope. They do not know what to do. They do not know what is going to happen next. So very true, when we learn from what we call it, FUCA, we learn from Baba, presented by Benis and also Nanis. When you look at the world today, the changing is so rapid, so rapidly changed that we do not know which one to go. And today, you know, with the AI, ChatGPT, with all those things, we do not know how. Really rapidly changing. And we do not know what is going to happen the next day. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow to us personally, to our families, to our colleagues, to our environment. The world is so complex. So complex that you do not know how can we clarify or one by one. It is so complex and so ambiguous. We do not know. But I learned from Toastmasters. Toastmasters has taught me so much because Toastmasters for me is not only a speaking club. It is not only a speaking environment that provides us to be a good speaker, but it becomes a lifeline to share. It becomes a lifeline to connect. It becomes a lifeline to feel heard. So, you know, when we are in Toastmasters, when we share, people asking questions, sometimes we can share a problem, sometimes we can share what we thought, sometimes we can share about our neighbor, or maybe about many things that no one can share one by one. So for me, Toastmasters is also where we learn leadership. It's not about the skills. It is about understanding, empathy, and connection. How can we build teamwork? So you ask me, what is Toastmasters to the world? How can we unite the world? Toastmasters is about voice, about understanding, about connection, and about awareness. So let me explain one by one. When we talk about voice, Toastmasters is a platform to speak the truth with compassion through excellent evaluation. We are not judging people. We know that this is the place for us, a platform for us to speak the truth, which one that they have to change, which one that they can improve. And then also understanding. The listening skills in Toastmasters is to understand before being understood. And we know that it is not judging, but it is evaluating. And then we also learn connection. Skills connect the world to a better stage without miscomprehension. That's I learned. And I myself being aware that leadership and communication skills can be learned. No one is perfect. There is always room for improvement. So today, I learned leadership skills, bringing people together to share burdens, to support one another, and also the communication skill. There's more than simply speaking, but to unite, to encourage, to reach out, to care, and to love. So Toastmasters is a voice to help, to heal, to build trust, to create a global community that moves forward together. To use our voice wisely, we can truly unite the broken world through understanding, compassion, and shared humanity. Toastmasters is a true power. Unite the world through our voices, one conversation at a time. Toastmasters.
Thank you, Maimunah, for your inspiring speech highlighting the mental health that we are facing today through isolation. And indeed, it is effective communication can significantly improve mental health by fostering connection, reducing feelings of isolation, and allowing individuals to express their emotion, open dialogue, encourage understanding. Thank you so much, Maimunah, for your very meaningful speech.
Thank you.
Thank you. And joining us from USA, we have Eldonna Fernandez, an accredited speaker. Her title, Toastmasters, took me from petrified to paid speaker. Eldonna Fernandez provides negotiation, leadership, and communication training to corporate clients and small business owners internationally. Her business is built on a 23-year career as a U.S. Air Force contract specialist and 20 years in the defense industry as a contracts administrator and negotiator, handling contracts worth millions, hundreds of millions. Eldonna founded Basket and Beats Canyon, helping women in poverty create micro enterprises through selling handcraft products. She authored Think Like a Negotiator and Gold Pink Rules of Engagement, and is a Toastmaster International accredited speaker, a destination held by fewer than 100 people. Please welcome Eldonna Fernandez. Eldonna, please. You're muted, please. Yes. So, Master, we can't hear her.
Yeah, I think maybe Eldonna, can you try to change your audio and see? Is it okay, Eldonna? Would you like to rejoin in that case? Perhaps it will work better that way.
Would you prefer that we go on to the next and then you come back?
I think we can hear her now. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you try again?
Can you hear me
Hello?
now?
Yes.
Yep, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
So sorry. All right. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests. I've heard it said that the secret to life isn't about what happens to you, but it's what you do with what happens to you. Now, I can share with you my Toastmasters journey, but you have to understand where the petrified came from before the paid speaking. And petrified is basically an understatement because I was so scared to speak in front of people. I was a high school dropout and I had a rough childhood. My mother died when I was 12 of alcoholism. My father died when I was 22. I didn't have a great upbringing. I didn't have a lot of confidence. And I joined the United States Air Force when I was 19 years old. About a year in, I was required to give a presentation. I thought I was going to die. I was shaking, my face was red, I was sweating, my voice was cracking. And I was required throughout my military career to give a lot of presentations and briefings. About a year or so after that first presentation, I heard about a Toastmasters club and I thought, what? There's a club where people speak for fun? That will never be me. Never say never. I made it through my military career and was able to get through the presentations, the briefings, all the things that I had to do. And at my retirement ceremony after 23 years of service, I gave a speech and I thought I'd arrived as a speaker. And I retired and moved to Southern California, where I live now. And interestingly enough, the core values of the Air Force are integrity, service, and excellence, which are 3 of the 4 core values of Toastmasters. So it seems I was destined to be part of Toastmasters. Around 2006, I met someone who had a nonprofit and was helping women in crisis. And I had been in that situation in my early life. And she thought I could share my story to inspire the women that they served. And she suggested that I join Toastmasters. And there's also a friend of mine who was in Toastmasters as well. In 2006, I became a member of Air LA Toastmasters in District 1. And I challenged myself within my first year and entered the humorous speech contest and managed to make it all the way to district. And that was my first time speaking in front of 300 people. Wasn't able to convert the speech there, but I was proud to be one of 5 speakers, the five best speakers in the humorous. And I also met Helen Blanchard at that conference. It was a real honor to meet her. She was our keynote speaker, and she had said, "Oh, you ladies are the future." And I felt, well, you're the one who was a trailblazer for us all. In 2008, I became a qualified member of the District 1 Toastmasters Speakers Bureau and started going out and speaking in the community. And that's where I met fellow Toastmaster Cheryl Roush in 2008 at Book Expo America, where she was signing her book, Heart of a Woman, and was asking for stories for her next book, Heart of a Woman in Business. And I became a published author. I had a story published in Heart of a Woman in Business. And I was starting to speak around the community more. And then I challenged myself again and entered the international speech contest. And I won second at district that year. And at the same time, Cheryl and I worked on and co-authored the book Heart of a Military Woman, which came out in 2009. And it won a book award in 2010 at the San Diego Book and Writing Awards. And I was continuing on with speaking and developing leadership topics. And a lot of people told me, you are great at negotiation. You should be teaching people about negotiation. I started to develop some negotiation trainings. And at the same time, I was also working on some self-leadership things. And my book, Go Pink Rules of Engagement, was published about taking control of the handlebars of your life. That is me on a Harley. I've been a Harley rider since 1996. Well, through the encouragement of a lot of people, I started to continue speaking and started to actually get paid to speak in different venues. And I was developing my negotiation content. And that's when I wrote Think Like a Negotiator, 50 Ways to Create Win-Win Results by Understanding the Pitfalls to Avoid. Yes, that is me. Dark hair. Before COVID, I let my hair go. So this was published in 2014. What a little bit of time can do to change your look and appearance. I should probably get a different cover, but I think it's interesting when people see how dark my hair was and how light it is now. Soon after that, Cheryl actually was instrumental in encouraging me to go for the accredited speaker designation. And as Tom had alluded to before, it's not an easy task to go for. I passed level 1 and I went to level 2. And what level 2 is speaking at the International Convention. I spoke at the International Convention for the audience and the judges, and I passed level 2 and became an accredited speaker. In 2017, I was invited to speak at the International Convention in Vancouver on a panel of accredited speakers and continued to get paid to speak. And then in 2018, I was a main stage presenter in Chicago at the Toastmasters International Convention there. And then at that time, I started to work with women in Kenya, what I'm doing now with Baskets and Beads Kenya. I've done quite a lot of different things in my Toastmasters journey of 18 years, and I plan to do much more. Perhaps I'll be there with Tom going for the world champion of public speaking as well. But who knows what's the future for me. But what I have to say to you is no matter what you want to do in Toastmasters or outside of Toastmasters, like Tom said, Life doesn't come to you. You have to come to life. And for me to get over my fear of speaking, I'll say this: you cannot flip a light switch to become an expert at anything. You have to do the work. I always say the power is in the work. If you do the work, you'll have the power to make your dreams come true. The secret to life isn't about what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Eldonna. Thank you for your strong voice on women's issues. Indeed, COVID has betrothal upon us a crown of silver, beauty, and glory. And our next speaker, from Canada, we bring you Stefano Cossalter, DTM, World Champion of Public Speaking, Finalist 2024. Title, Forged from Fire. Stefano is a serial entrepreneur, TEDx coach, and hypnotherapist. Stefano has been a Toastmaster since 2011. Since then, he has become a 3-time distinguished Toastmaster and a 7-time public speaking champion. This year, Stefano was a finalist in the World Championship of Public Speaking. In his free time, this mama's boy enjoys playing soccer and practicing hypnosis. Please welcome Stefano Cossalter, DTM. Stefano, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you hear me? Perfect. My dog can hear me too. Have you ever had something sudden happen in your life that caused a change? A moment that happened so quick, kind of like lighting a match, but would change the course of your life forever. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, on March 8th, 2008, I got a phone call from the president of the company that I had my entire life savings and time invested in. It was a plant on 5 acres with fiberglass manufacturing, and it was a break-in to the factory. If you were there that night, you would have seen Mr. Disgruntled Employee standing outside a broken door with an empty can of gas and a pack of matches. He put the can down, lit a match, and touched it down to the trail of gasoline going into the factory. I'm not sure if you know much about fiberglass manufacturing, but if you had a can of gas and a pack of matches, you get an explosive situation. It took 5 different firefighting companies from 5 cities to put the blaze out. It was a total loss. In a cruel twist of fate, they canceled the insurance 2 weeks prior because of a theft. I lost my entire life savings. I don't really know if you know what that feels like. It was one moment, everything had changed. My dreams had been shattered. It's a big lesson, make sure you're insured. But what was I to do? I was out of a paycheck, I had no savings, my big payoff was not coming in. It was devastating. And I struggled to find something to do. I applied for jobs, but I couldn't perform in interviews. I couldn't confidently communicate with other people. And I had a bright idea, probably like everybody here. I was going to join Toastmasters. I started a new business in online marketing. And something I realized in online marketing is if you start a consulting business, you need clients. And I couldn't talk to people. What would happen is I couldn't pick up the phone. I couldn't go into people's businesses to try and get business. I would just freeze up. So when I went to the Toastmasters that first time, sorry? When I went to Toastmasters that first time, I was a desperate man. I needed help, and honestly, I had no idea the amount of help I was to get. But the first time I went to the meeting and I sat down and I saw all these wonderful speakers stand up, and I thought to myself, if I just had an ounce of that skill as a speaker, there's no telling what I could do with my life. So I joined up, and the next day or the next week, I go and I decide to join in and to participate in the impromptu speaking portion of the meeting. I put my hand up. I was scared, just like everybody else was. I went to the front, and they gave me one of those softball questions, you know, the ones they ask the new members. And an idea popped into my mind just like that. And I stepped forward and I opened my mouth, and nothing came out. It was like my tongue had exploded in my mouth, like the world's smallest. I sat down, and that voice started coming back into my head. I call it my dad voice. It's that voice, I don't know, maybe you have one that's like this. It's the voice that tells you to sit down and shut up every time you want to stand up and stand out. I decided after that day, I was never coming back to Toastmasters. I think one of the most incredible parts of Toastmasters is the mentorship program. I was assigned a mentor right away, and Mel, he called me up 2 weeks later. He said, "Where you been? Cut out for this." Says, "Come on, let's go for coffee and I'll talk to you." He likened becoming good at Toastmasters as learning to play a musical instrument. He knew I played the trumpet, so he said to me, "What was it like the first time you put a trumpet to your lips?" I said, "It was pretty crappy." He said, "Well, yeah, you were pretty crappy the first time you got up to speak, but next time you'll be a little less crappy. Next time after that, a little less crappy." And he was absolutely right. It came down to a moment where I started to feel comfortable. In that moment, I realized from the ashes of that night, it wasn't about what I had lost, but what I had found, my voice. I started to feel what it was like to engage people on a whole new level. It was like calling to people to action at the deepest level, no matter if it was an audience of 1,000 or an audience of 1. I realized that if I had my voice, I'd have the ability to do what most people would never do: public speak. My life had turned around, and I started doing things I never dreamed possible. New successful businesses, getting paid to speak, competing in speech contests. The guy that burned down the factory, well, he was handed down the maximum 20 years in jail. But I'd have to thank the guy. It led me to open doors that had always been closed to me. And my message is this: find and use your voice. You've heard from great speakers and even more incredible leaders. Use it to ignite the fires of passion and possibility in you. And especially when times are challenging, because using these skills, we can turn loss into legacy by letting our voices be the catalyst for whatever change you want to see in your life. But I'm Toastmaster.
Thank you, Stefano, for your very hypnotizing speech. Well, TM can help turn life crisis into opportunity. And of course, the first time you go into Toastmaster, it could be a very frightening struggle. But after a while, you can see that transformation and, like in your words, from loss into legacy. Thank you so much. And now, after hearing from 7 marvelous speakers, we would like your participants, audience. So it is now the exciting quiz time, and Sohwa will lead you on with it. Sohwa, please.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Well, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to conduct a short quiz session, a Centennial quiz, to test how much you know or understand about Toastmasters. So with that, I would like to share a quiz, and you will use your mobile phone to do it. Okay, so just give me a moment while I bring out the screen. Okay. Okay, so with that, a Slido quiz. Please bring out your mobile phone to scan the QR code, or if you are using your browser or on your phone, you can also type slido.com or the app and key in the code of WTMC. So we'll give everyone a moment to join the quiz. All right. Thank you, Lim. Okay, let's just wait a moment for more people to join. Okay, cool. $30 so far. Let's have more. Okay, we will start in about 10 seconds. As the session is ongoing, you can also join the quiz because the QR code and the code will remain on your left. Okay. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we will start. Okay, so let's go for the first question. In what year did the first unofficial club meeting held in Bloomington, Illinois take place, where the concept of a Toastmaster at banquets was first explored? Which is the date? March 27, 1907, 1924, 1905, or 1950? Please answer it in your mobile phone. Okay, you have 10 more seconds to do so. All right, 2 more persons to answer. Okay, great. Let's see what most of you picked. Okay, so most of you picked 1924. That is the official Toastmasters meeting held in Santa Ana, California. So the unofficial meeting was held in 1905, almost 20 years before the official Toastmasters meeting. Okay, well done for those who get it correct. Second question. The first publication by Toastmasters in 1930, which made up of just a few mimeographed pages, is called what? Toastmaster, the Gavel, the Smedley, the Confident Voices. Right. Okay, we have almost more than half answered. 9 more seconds. And let's see. Okay, they are very varied answers. So what is the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen? The correct answer is the Gavel. Okay, after that, it has transformed into the Toastmaster magazine that we have until today. And now it's in the digital version. So hope everyone will also learn more from the digital version of Toastmaster, where you can learn a lot from various speakers and tips. Third question, which of the following is not one of the core values of Toastmasters International? This is a fairly simple question. So what is the question, the answer? Please answer in your mobile phone, yeah? Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay, let's see. Everyone picked. Okay, most of you picked trust. So what is the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer is trust. We have 4. Integrity, respect, service, and excellence. So trust is definitely important, but it's not listed as one of the core values. Service and excellence is the other one, okay? The fourth question, okay, before that, let's just have a quick leaderboard to showcase who did well so far. Congratulations, Yanika, to be the top right now. You still have, other people still have chance to catch up. Don't worry, we have 3 more questions. Now, let's go for the fourth question. Which of the following speech contest was the first ever being held in the history of Toastmasters International? International speech, table topics, tall tales, humorous speech. Everyone doing good so far? Fully? Okay, a few more seconds to go. And let's see what most of you picked. Okay, the top three, international speech and tall tales, are the most picked answers. The correct answer is international speech. If you read the history, if not mistaken, it started off with inter-club speech contest. Then it transformed to international speech, and of course today it culminates into the World Championship of Public Speaking. Let's move on to the next question. The Pathways was introduced in 2017, customized to members' professional and personal goals. Which of the following are not one of the paths available under this program? Presentation mastery, persuasive influence, dynamic leadership, strategic leadership. Anyone has completed all the pathways? We are in the midst of transitioning to the new base camp. Okay, so a few more seconds to pick your answer. The terms may be confusing. All right. So they are, okay, most of you picked the last one. So the last one is strategic leadership. So we don't have that. We have strategic relationships. Okay, so that's a bit confusing, but no worries. Last question for this session. The Accredited Speaker Program is designed to give professional speakers a competitive advantage by having their talents recognized by TI. So which of the following is not one of the criteria to apply for the title? Okay. So first, if you need to complete 25 speaking engagements. Another, record yourself giving a 20 to 60 minute presentation in front of a live audience. Third, earned the DTM award. And you also have a member of the club in good standing. So which is the correct answer? We are so privileged to listen to many accredited speakers in this program. So what's the correct answer? Okay, so most picked the third option. Yes, that's correct. You do not need to be a DTM in order to apply for this program or even be an accredited speaker. So well done, everyone. Let's see the final results. Okay, congratulations to Yannicka. Yeah, top on the list. Answered 4 correct questions with the shortest time. Thank you, everyone, for your participation, and thank you, congratulations to all. And that's all for the quiz session. I hope you enjoyed the session and learned something more about Toastmaster. I shall hand over the control back to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Sokhwa. I have no idea there's even an unofficial meeting held at all. But I got it right for the third question. Yes, trust is not one of the values. Right, continuing with our amazing speeches. Coming from USA, Eunice Jimenez, DTM. World Champion of Public Speaking, Semi-finalist 2021. Title, If in Doubt, Add Salt. Eunice was 2021 Semi-finalist International Speech Contest, 2021 Evaluation Speech Champion District 83, Evaluation Speech First Runner-up, District 75. She says, when you are placed in a situation, when you doubt yourself, just add the magic ingredient, salt, self-confidence, acceptance, love, and most of all, Toastmasters. Please warmly welcome Eunice, DTM, with When in Doubt, Add Salt. Eunice, please.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. In 2017, I embarked on the most adventurous journey I have ever done in my entire life. No, I did not do skydiving or bungee jumping or spelunking. It was way more adventurous than that. I, a Filipina, married an Indian guy. Culturally, there are so many things similar between Indians and Filipinos. The love for family and extended family, and the love for singing and dancing. However, the food is worlds apart. Filipino food is mostly flavored by only 3 ingredients: soy sauce, vinegar, and salt. While Indian food, well, let me tell you this. One kitchen cabinet is not enough for all the spices they have. There is spice of every imaginable taste, color, and size. And as someone who loves challenges, I tackled learning to cook Indian